Listen up, hockey fans. You're in the right place. A no-hold-barred debate between two hockey fans. Stay up to date on current issues in the NHL, even the controversial ones. Welcome to The Debate Hockey Podcast with your host, Brad Burud.
Good evening. Welcome to The Debate Hockey Podcast, episode number 125, December 14th, 2020. I'm the host of the show, Brad Burud, joined alongside my co-host, Blake Friars, as he humbled through his 30-second quarantine since this madness started. And
no shot. I got 8 days left. I went down to North Dakota to pick up my stuff from storage. Ran into Brad for the first time since March.
Yeah, we talked for a little while. Well, I wish we could have went for lunch or something, but it was like 8 o'clock in the morning. But
yeah, no, it was about 10. Yeah,
but it was early.
Yeah, it was a quick trip though for sure. Now I'm back in Verdun. Like I said, 8 more days left for quarantine. I'll go home on the 21st, and then we'll have Christmas on the 23rd, and then I don't know what we're gonna do after that.
Yeah, I don't know. Does it seem like Christmas? We just got a little dusting of snow.
Yeah, so do we. We got some last night
before, just dusting.
Yeah.
And I don't know, just enough to kind of make it a little white out, but I hate snow because I hate shoveling the shit. I just would like enough so that my kids feel like it's Christmas.
I'm wearing the sweater you gave me too.
Yeah, well, I got it on too because that's what we promote. We promote our shit, right?
Yeah. I had to wear the Vancouver hat though.
Yeah, I know.
I had 2 jerseys in the background, but Brad didn't want that on. So
we promised Blake will have a green screen.
Hopefully, like
weeks here, so a background for him to look a little more clean. We're trying to get this better and better every week for you, but we're getting there. I talked about this a little bit, but Christmas, does it really feel like Christmas? This year has been so messed up, but I'm actually more prepared this year for Christmas and more excited for it this year than I've been in a long time. I don't know.
I'm just grateful that every other year we get together with like aunts, uncles, cousins and stuff. We go to my grandma's. Mm-hmm. That's supposed to be next year, which sure has sucked if it was this year because you can only have like a fucking maximum of 5 people in your household nowadays. So that's a joke. So
I'm not even going to comment on that, Blake.
Yeah, it's a joke. They cracked down today. It was like $15,000 fines if you don't abide the law. Like honestly, like
who polices it?
If somebody said like I'm not allowed to hang out with my family, like it's kind of messed up. Like I don't get how you can make laws like that and enforce them.
Like it's called communism.
It's something else. But yeah, so I think we're just gonna. My sister's going to her boyfriend's on the 24th and 25th, and then I think we're gonna have Christmas dinner on the 23rd this year. It's all messed up. It's weird.
We're going to have it at my parents' house, and my kids are excited. And you know what? I'm kind of excited this year, too. I think it'll be good. It's good to spend time with family. Everybody's healthy and happy, and everything's good so far. We can hopefully keep that good luck going. And, you know what else I feel better about today, Blake?
What?
I feel a lot better now that the Cleveland Indians have to change their name. Does that make you feel better?
No comment. I don't know.
What are we going to do in this world when all the teams are changed, What are we going to complain about?
Okay, are you being sarcastic right now?
Yeah.
Okay, because I didn't know if you're being sarcastic because I put out a tweet and said, okay, guess we got to change the Blackhawks, the Braves. Like, this society is so soft. It's so soft, and everybody gets offended by a name. And just this, like 30 minutes before I walked on here, it's like, well, if you got to change the Indians, you should take a look at the Vancouver Canucks Orca, blah, 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 blah. I'm just like, oh my God.
Well, like, why isn't, oh, that's a good point, Blake. I never thought of that. Why isn't the Canucks derogatory?
Like, I don't know. Like,
why isn't the Minnesota Vikings thought of as derogatory?
That's what I'm saying. Like the Braves, the Kansas City Chiefs. Like what? Like I don't understand.
That'll be changed.
There's so many. Like you even look at the college. There's so many Indian names in for college teams.
Well, in college, though, the ones that make the money for NCAA don't have to change theirs because evidently the Seminoles were derogatory.
Well, and they're not. The Indians aren't even changing it this year. They're changing it next year. So
we still have to
it's so stupid. This society is so messed up. Like for the Fighting Sioux, like why? I don't get it. I don't get it. It's a sick name too. The Fighting Sioux.
I've lived in North Dakota my whole life, and I've never in my life seen it used in a derogatory way.
I know. It's just I know.
We were proud to be the Fighting Sioux, and you want to know what? We'll always be the Fighting Sioux.
Oh yeah, I always say Sioux. I never say Fighting Hawks. Like it's always Sioux.
I hope we don't have to have the Blackhawks change. I know this is a hockey podcast, and we talk about the hockey end of things. And I'm not a Blackhawks fan, but it's quite honestly in the top 3, probably top 2 for historical logos in this league, and it would be a damn shame if that had to change. Let's talk more positive things, though, Blake.
Yeah.
It sounds like, now we've said this for probably 5 weeks straight, but I think this week we'll probably get the final confirmation that it starts on the 13th. All systems look go for the 13th, but I think we'll get the finalization this week.
So I saw that a bunch of players are starting to go back to their home cities, which that's a really good sign. They're kind of anticipating January 13th start date, which is awesome. That's every hockey fan's goal is to get back, right? But I'm not gonna say it's a go until it's on sign the dotted line.
Yeah,
like a lot of shit can go wrong this next week. Like I hope it doesn't go wrong, but with the amount that they haven't been talking and they haven't come to an agreement on a return to play, kind of scary.
Well, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the finances of that a little bit here, and then let's actually go through what we're going to talk about on the show. We'll talk a little bit about the COVID hurdles as we get back to hockey. I got some questions for you on that, and I want to know if you were commissioner, how you would solve them. And then we'll roll on into the divisional alignment, and if you think or like or hate or whatever you think of what the proposed divisional alignments are, we'll go around the league and talk about the Mighty Ducks, odds on helmets, franchise values, Holtby, the Golden Knights, and the Kings' future. Is this Kings team ready to be a contender? Are they ready to be a contender, Blake?
No,
we'll see.
Not a chance.
We're going to talk about all that on today's show. Manscaped. Yep, it's Christmas time. It's time to get your loved one a gift.
Yep.
You got to get him a Manscaped. Get him. I got my lawnmower. Or I got a
weed whacker. Weed
whacker. It works good. I like it. It's good. But you
know,
nose
hairs trimmed up.
It's time for Christmas gifts. And can you get a better Christmas gift? Get on the webpage, order it up. They ship it out to you right away.
Yep.
Easy. It's quick. It's fast. Do it now. You get 20% off, free shipping. Type in the promo code DEBATE, and you will be all set, ready to roll. All right, Blake, I've got some things I got to pick your brain on about the hurdles that the league faces in getting back to play, because there's some hurdles. It's going to be touch and go on a couple topics. Let's start with talking about, I don't know, I got so many things on my notes here. I don't even know which one to start with. Let's start with the rosters. What if you were commissioner? All these are going to be questions if Blake was commissioner. God help us, that never happens. But yeah, we'd have schedules where Vancouver plays 72 home games and 10 road. Anyways, let's talk rosters.
Yeah,
there's a lot of hurdles and a lot of framework that needs to be figured out here with teams such as Vancouver and Calgary, our teams that have farm teams in the state. So, are we going to have, what would you do? What size roster would you have? Would you put together a practice squad? How would you handle player transfers from the AHL to the NHL? Let me have it, Blake. What would you do?
Well, we don't know if we're gonna have an AHL. That's another huge question mark, right? There's been some ECHL teams that aren't going to play. What's that?
They started last Saturday. 4 teams did not play.
Did not play. Yeah,
are not playing at all this year.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. So what I would do, like, if I was Vancouver, like I think Utica's a good spot for them, but like, why not move them to like Abbotsford? You know what I mean?
Yeah, just in a year. I mean,
well, I mean, like eventually, like make that transition to.
Calgary just had their team in Abbotsford. It didn't work.
Or move it to like Langley. Langley would even be a good spot for a farm team. But yeah, like right now, they'll probably just adapt the taxi squad where you get 5-6 extra guys to carry. But there's where are these guys going to play? Like baseball, they had like an alternate site where they went and played and they had like simulated games against each other. I guess you can do that, but like,
who are you going to play?
You just play inter squad games. Like, I don't know. Like, what else are you going to do?
No, I know. I don't have the answer either.
You take 5 players from the AHL team that would be like fringe NHL guys. So Vancouver would take like Cole in, they would take Rafferty, like all those guys. They probably carry Michael DiPietro as their third goalie. And then
I was thinking about this, so Blake. I guarantee they'll carry 3 goalies. But I was thinking about this. What happens? Okay, now let's say you have a young guy that's a borderline. If he's going to be on the roster, if he's not going to be on the roster.
Yeah, the development's going to suck.
That's what I'm saying. Like
it's going to suck because
it's almost better if
there's going to be a lot of young players that could make the NHL, but maybe they get sent down back to junior.
I think they're going to get sent to junior, or they're going to get sent to the
overseas, or they'll get loaned.
And the reason that'll be is I think there's going to be a lot of veterans that'll get signed for $700,000 deals. That'll be 2-way deals. If they're on the practice squad, they get, $75,000. And if they play for the show, they're going to get $700,000. And we're going to see a lot of veterans making up those squads, I think.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see what they do. But I do think they'll kind of do what the MLB did, create like each team will have an alternate site, whether that would be where the AHL team's going to be. They have inter squad games to keep them in shape, and then you have 4, 5, 6, 7 guys on the taxi squad traveling with the NHL team.
So schedule flexibility. They've talked about your teams are going to be playing within their division and in their division only, and they're talking about 2 or 3 game sets with teams. Your feelings on that?
Yeah, I don't mind it. It's like a baseball schedule almost. In a year like this, you got to limit your travel. If that means you got to play Winnipeg Wednesday, Friday, Sunday, and then go play Edmonton Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, that's what you got to do. You got to limit the schedule somehow, limit the travel as best as you can. And if it has to be only for one season, I think I'd be okay with that.
You know what? I'm gonna make that point here, and I think you're probably gonna agree with me. Maybe not. I don't know. Careful what you think you might not like, because I got a feeling these 2-game and 3-game sets are gonna be.
Are you talking like back to back?
Well, if you had to play 2 games in 3 days with Vancouver, Calgary, or if you had to play 3 games in 5 days or whatever, that's what it's gonna be. And I think, you don't have travel.
There'll be more rivalries for sure.
But how exciting is that going to be?
Yeah.
How excited are you going to be for the weekend when you look at the calendar and go, we got Calgary on Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday night. How freaking fun of a weekend is that?
Yeah. There's going to be a lot of Canadian rivalries reborn a little bit.
Calgary, there's going to be a lot of American rivalries.
Yeah, true. But I'm like, me being from Canada, being a Canucks fan, the rivalry with Calgary is not as like rivalry as it once was in the early 2000s and
you don't think so?
2000s. No, not anymore. Like there's no there used to be fights every game against that team. There used to be
that's the way hockey is.
High scoring games. Like it's just like when we play Calgary, I just don't get that feeling that I used to when I was a little kid. But like when you watch Calgary Edmonton, that shit's a bloodbath. that I can't wait to watch those teams play 8-9 times a year. Like that's going to be unbelievable.
I know, even like you look at teams in the States like I actually
like Pittsburgh, Philly. That's going to be another one. Those teams going to play 8 times a year. I'll take that all day.
Back-to-back nights and stuff. How fun is that going to be? You're going to have, you see in college hockey all the time, or even sometimes in junior hockey, when they play back-to-backs like that, you see them just the inner rivalries and the hatred builds. I think it's going to make for some really exciting.
Yeah, it's almost kind of like having little mini playoff series in a sense, right? So you'll play
I guarantee you there's coaches out there that are going to use that as we need to win this series. We need to win this series. They're going to look at them as playoff series is what they're going to
here we got to take 2 or 3 here or whatever.
So now these 7 teams that did not play in the bubble.
Yeah.
Do you think they should receive special treatment, i.e. starting, 5 days earlier or getting to play a preseason game or an extra preseason game? Or anything like that. Do you think they special treatment?
No. Why? Why would we reward shit teams?
We're trying to get them better.
Well, I'm just saying, like, to be honest, I think every team's gonna get like 1 preseason game.
I don't know the way they were talking.
I don't think they get any.
That I don't want. I want 1.
Like, if I had to guess, I would say like a week and a half training camp, maybe 2 weeks. And 1 preseason game, then you're hopping into it's go time. Like basketball, 2 preseason games, season starts.
Yeah, but those guys don't try at all.
I'm just saying, they're still athletes.
Kind of.
No, they're pretty good athletes.
Kind of. I would like to see, if I was running the league, I would have 1 preseason game just so, there's a lot of teams that have a lot of new players, and you can gel all you want. And
2 max.
Oh, no more than 2. No more than 2. I think 1's fine.
Yeah.
We saw 1 work. We saw 1 work in the bubble. Everybody played 1.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, they did play 1. I thought for some reason they played 2.
Nope.
Yeah, just 1. Yeah.
We played 1, and it worked. But we just need 1 just to get that going. You know what I'm saying. So you don't give them any extra leeway. Okay, I'm not going to argue with you on that one. It looks like we're looking at a January 13th start date, and it looks like a January 3rd is what I saw for the opening of camp, so a 10-day camp.
Yeah.
We'll find out hopefully more about scheduling, finalization on divisions, finalization on important dates like trade deadline, when the playoffs would start, when's the draft, when's free agency. All those things got to get worked out, and a lot of stuff's got to get worked out in a real.
The goal is to get back on track. Like, preferably the NHL wants free agency July 1st. They want the draft. They want the draft at the end of July or end of June. Like they want to eventually get back on that.
They said the draft and free agency will be pushed back a month.
So to August, maybe that's fine.
Well, in mid-July, they can do that during mid-July. Opt-out. How do you feel about this? Will players, like the return to play last summer, have an opt-out option if they feel unsafe playing?
Yeah, I think they will. It's I don't know. It's hard to say because you're obligated to a contract, but you don't have to play if you don't want to.
Yeah, but then I'm fine with an opt-out.
If they opt out, they don't get paid.
You don't get paid then.
Yeah.
You do not get paid. You cannot opt out and get paid now.
No, I agree. If you opt out
and
you don't get paid.
I'm almost to the point where then, you opt out and it almost starts. I don't know if you want to do like a contract termination, go that far, but I don't know. I think, that'll count as a year off your contract too.
Would you get that? If he opts out, would you get that cap space to use that year?
I don't think you should.
Yeah.
Because
I'm just praying that Louis Eriksson would opt out.
I don't know. There's a lot of things like that need to get worked out. And with this new return to play, and the players saying no, we want our money now. they're talking, I listened on Sportsnet today, that means that the salary cap will not go up for 7 straight years.
What are you talking about?
Well, the players don't want to take more escrow.
Oh, I know.
It's going to be, Elliot Friedman reported today that it's going to be $1 billion they're going to owe the owners in the next 6 years as the CBA runs out. The 7th year is an option if one of the sides owes the other one money. So they're looking at this is going to be a 7-year deal, and the cap will not go up at all because the players are going to owe it to the owners.
Yeah,
the cap will not go up for 7 straight years.
That's not good.
That's why I wish the players would just take a hit this year, like the owners are, and then start fresh next year.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
The players now are going to screw over the future of this league.
Yeah.
They want their money, and they're going to screw the future of the league over.
Yeah.
It's crazy. We talked about taxi squads and expanded rosters, COVID protocols. Do you think they're going to be testing, and how frequently? Well, obviously they're going to be testing, but how frequently will they be testing?
I'd probably say it's too expensive to test every day for every single team. You could have done that with 16 playoff teams. They tested every day, but when you put 31 teams, that's a big bill to pay. But I think the vaccines in Canada right now, like does all the players just get a vaccine shot? Would the NHL privately buy vaccines for all the players?
Well, they're talking about that, but that's still, is it fair for players that are healthy and not in danger of this to get a vaccine over the top of a nurse working in a hospital? I mean, is that right?
It's probably not right, but.
And the second thing is,
might save you some money instead of getting tested all the time.
Well, let me ask you this question. What if a player says, I'm not taking the vaccine? Can't make them.
Yeah, I know you can't, obviously, but it was just a thought.
And I got a question for you. If we're so worried about testing, this isn't just NHL, this is all pro sports. We're so worried about testing our athletes. We're 20 to 40 years old in the prime of their life, top-notch shape, and we're worried about testing them for COVID. But people can go work at Walmart and Costco and all these major department stores. They are not tested at all. Which is more of a health risk? The guy on the football field that has no contact with fans at all, who's in the prime health, or the 55-year-old guy working at Walmart that's in front of 400 people, 500 people a day in his checkout line? Does that make any sense to you?
Yeah, it's backwards.
Why are we testing these athletes?
It's always been like that, though, Brad.
Why are we testing these athletes?
Because they're the entertainment. They make the money. That's why. That's why that is. It's always been like that.
So we're really so actually what it is we're not truly as a society worried about the well-being of everybody.
We're just worried about people that make the most money.
So, but we're not worried about the millionaires that are walking in Walmart. Do you know what I'm saying? It just doesn't make sense why one job gets tested and another job doesn't.
Yeah.
I think the ones that should be tested the most are the ones that are out in public the most. To me, that would slow the spread more. I mean, but no, a whole bunch of the stuff doesn't make sense on this. Now, do you think there's any chance that there's a bubble?
No.
See, I don't either. I don't think that there's a snowball's chance in hell that we have a bubble at all.
What about in the playoffs, maybe? I don't know.
God, I would think by then we should be. They were talking today that we should be at 50% capacity, if not 100 by playoff time in arenas.
Yeah.
The NFL's already said next year they're having 100% capacity.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw that too.
You know, how do you blame them? I mean, right now, if there was a hockey game in Winnipeg, let's say the Winnipeg Jets play the whoever tonight.
There'd be 15,000 people in the seats.
Okay, you got it answered for me. All right. Let's talk a division alignment, and this has been funny. Heard a ton of controversy this last week over the proposed division alignment, and what was proposed is I'll read them off here. One of the U.S. divisions, there's no names for them, so I don't know what to call them, but it has Boston, Buffalo, New Jersey, the Islanders, the Rangers, Flyers, Penguins, and Capitals. And the other one has Carolina, Columbus, Detroit, Chicago, Florida, Minnesota, Nashville, and Tampa Bay.
It's going to be the most boring division in the whole world. Minnesota, Florida, Jesus.
You want to hear something funny?
Chicago.
Then you have the Canadian division. It's Vancouver, Edmonton, Calgary, Winnipeg, Ottawa, Toronto, Montreal. There was people bitching saying that division's going to be so easy, and it's going to offset
Canadian?
And I'm sitting there looking at it, I'm like thinking, Carolina, Columbus, Detroit sucks, Chicago sucks, Florida sucks, Minnesota sucks, Nashville's struggling. What the fuck? What about the Canadian division for?
It's going to be I will not watch a single game from that division.
And then the other division in the States is Anaheim, Arizona, Colorado, Dallas, LA, San Jose, St. Louis, and Vegas. So, of course, when I saw that, I'm like, what in the hell are people bitching about? So I went up. So let's talk about each of these divisions. And let's say, who are the crappy teams? We'll count it out. How many of them have true top-end teams, and how many of them have true garbage teams? Because I think the teams in the middle are all the same throughout the league, for the most part. So you look at the first one, Boston. I would consider them elite, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Okay, Buffalo.
They did get worse though, but they're still good.
But they're still elite. Buffalo. Would you consider them really crappy or mushy middle?
They're in the middle.
New Jersey.
Bad.
Islanders.
Middle.
Yep. That's what I say too. Rangers.
They're pretty good.
Yeah, but middle.
Depends if they can take some steps.
This is our prove it year.
Yeah.
Philadelphia.
Good team.
Pittsburgh.
Good team. Got worse, but they're good. Washington's good.
Okay. So that team has 4 good, 1 crappy, and 3 in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So let's do the next one. Carolina.
Middle.
Columbus.
It depends. They're kind of in the middle.
Middle, yeah. Detroit.
Bad.
Okay. Chicago.
Bad.
Florida.
No, they're a middle team.
Okay. Minnesota.
Bad.
Nashville.
Middle.
Yep. Tampa Bay.
Elite.
Okay. So they have 4 teams that are not 1, 2. So they have 4 teams in the middle. Okay. Let's talk the other American. Anaheim.
Bad.
Arizona.
Bad.
Colorado.
Good.
Dallas.
Middle.
LA.
Bad.
San Jose.
Bad.
St. Louis.
Middle.
Vegas.
Good.
So they have 8 teams in their divisions. They have 2 in the middle and the rest. Okay. Vancouver.
Good.
Oh, they're middle.
Okay, they're in the middle.
They're middle. Edmonton.
Middle.
Calgary.
Calgary's good. On paper.
Winnipeg.
Middle.
Ottawa.
Bad.
Toronto.
Good.
Montreal.
Middle.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
They have 2 good teams in there.
So they only have 1 crappy team in that division, but the other, but you talk about the Carolina, that division's got 3 crappies. I mean, I don't know how people think that the Canadian division's the bad one. That to me doesn't make any sense. We also, know that we only think 9 teams of the 31 are any good.
Yeah.
We think
True.
we
There's
think
a lot of them in the middle.
you know what's funny? We think 9 are good and 9 suck. That's interesting.
That's half the league.
Yep, and then the other half of the league is in the mushy middle.
Mm-hmm.
So, what are the pros and cons to these divisions? A lot of people are really freaking out about them, and I'm not. I'm actually, to be honest, I'm excited about them.
Well, you're gonna see if there's a Western team in an Eastern Conference, they're like Eastern Division, you're gonna see more matchups against that team, I guess. Like, for instance,
I think they got it though set pretty good. Where a lot of the rivalries are together.
Well, maybe.
Well, look at this. If you're Boston, you lose Tampa Bay and you lose Toronto, so that's freaking
good for them.
You gain Pittsburgh and Washington, though. So there's pros and cons in all this. If you're Tampa Bay, you're sitting pretty right now. You freaking lost Toronto. You lost Boston. Who did you gain? Carolina?
Yeah. No.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're Vegas right now, you lost Edmonton, you lost Calgary, and you lost Vancouver. You gained St. Louis and Colorado. So, I mean, that's about a wash.
Yeah.
If you're Toronto, you escape
you pray to God that you don't have to play Boston anymore, but then you got to play Calgary, Edmonton, Vancouver.
Yeah. The fact is, this is the National Hockey League. I think people are looking for something to
every team is
it's good.
There's a lot of good teams.
And you know what? One of these teams that we said suck,
they're probably gonna have a good year.
Exactly. Think about this, Blake.
I'll put my money on New Jersey.
With a condensed schedule. Think about this. Jesus, did you just say that? Are you getting paid by them?
No, probably Ottawa. Ottawa's gonna turn some heads. Watch.
Think about this. With this condensed schedule, if you got off to an 8-2 start and you're a mediocre team, you're sitting pretty.
It's like that. It was like that in baseball too. Like if you had a bad 2 weeks, you're not making the playoffs. Like if you play 14 games and you go 2-12, you're not digging yourself out of that hole.
Who was the bad team this year in baseball that ended up doing really well? Didn't you have
the Giants? They almost made the playoffs. The Jays. The Blue Jays lost 100 games last year. They made the playoffs.
Did you watch all 100?
No, they only played 60.
Oh, I know. The year before.
All losses. No, I didn't watch all of them, but it was a tough year. They were in a rebuild phase.
Oh, gosh. All right. Enough with the alignment. Let's talk about some things around the NHL.
Inside Edge Hockey News. Dropping the gloves. And stirring the pot.
Like it's 2020. Everything this year has sucked ass, including the fact that Disney announces the return of the Mighty Ducks.
This gets like a negative 1,000 out of 10. It is awful.
They announced a series that'll be played on Disney Plus called The Mighty Ducks Game Changers. When I saw this, I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. Is this for real? But evidently, Blake, it's for real.
Yeah, I mean, the only good thing they did was bring back Coach Bombay, but the rest of it was awful.
I hated the first ones.
What? The first ones were so good. I liked the first ones. You're also like that came out when I was about 10 years old. Or no.
Probably younger.
No. That came out in the late 90s. So yeah, that would have came out like 92, 94, 96. So I wasn't even born yet. So yeah, bad math there on my part. Not a math guy, but
I always saw that.
Yeah. So I mean I didn't mind those three movies. The second one's probably the best.
All right, let's move on.
I don't know what to say. I just didn't like it.
The NHL is investigating the option to sell ads on helmets this season.
Well, the NHL's got to do anything they can to scrape some money. They got to make some money somehow.
Yeah, but we can't lose. You can't start digging in the integrity of the game. I hear a lot of people say, "Well, it's bound to happen someday, so we might as well do it now." Well, you know what? It is bound to happen probably someday. But come on, let's protect our sport for a little bit longer.
If it's just on the helmets, I'd be okay with that. Just on the front of it, I think it'd be fine.
Have you seen Germany before? Have you seen their helmets?
Yeah, but that's all European teams. They have stickers and.
Why do you think it's not going to get like that in the NHL?
Well, I mean, the NHL's got to do anything they can to make money to make some revenue, right?
No, I don't argue that. I do. I think they're going to have to get creative. And yeah, I can probably live with them on helmets a whole hell of a lot easier than I can live with them on jerseys. But I don't know. I mean, last year we went from, logos on the boards, which I think it looks dumb if there's not logos on the boards now. But now they have them on the glass and things like that. So while you're watching a game on TV, you can see different ads on the glass. And I guess that's a creative way of doing it that doesn't interrupt with the fans and quite honestly doesn't ruin the television viewing experience. But I don't know. One of the things I always thought was so special about National Hockey League was I always thought the sweaters were the nicest of any league or any sport out there. And man, I can't imagine, seeing a McDonald's logo on the shirt tail or on the side of a helmet or something. It's going to seem different. And yeah, I can live with the helmets probably because I would assume that.
Well, eventually I think that every team's going to have somebody sponsor their jersey. Like whether that be like McDonald's sponsors Calgary and they have a little M in the corner, or like Taco Bell signs the Dallas Stars. Like I don't know.
But how long before Little Caesar says, "All right, Vancouver, we're going to give you $13 million a year, but you got to change your colors to ours"?
I don't know.
Do you know what I'm saying though? Like Blake, I mean, I know that sounds like ludicrous, but is it?
I don't know. I wouldn't mind some orange and white jerseys.
Oh my god! Oh my god! I know they need to come up with a revenue, but man, I just hope they don't go too far with this. Franchise values. Forbes came out with their list of franchise values, and there is a drop in a lot of teams, and then some of the key teams moved up.
Toronto.
Yeah, Toronto's always up at the top, I mean, big shocker there. But, you look, I mean, let's talk. The Rangers went up drastically. $4.4 billion is the total for the league. Top value is the Rangers at $1.65 billion. Toronto's at 1.5. Montreal is third. Chicago's fourth. Boston fifth. Those are the only five in the billion category. And then we start going down from there.
Vancouver's at like 700 million.
Vancouver is 10th at 725 million. Calgary's 20th at 480 million. The last spots, of course, Arizona. Yeah. It's 285 million for them. There is no way in hell that anybody would pay that right now for them.
No shot. No, not a chance.
Not a chance.
100 million max.
I don't know. Let's talk about your goaltender. Let's talk about Braden Holtby. Explain to me, what is the controversy with this mask?
I have been doing my research on this, and apparently
describe what the mask looks
So the mask, it was like it had like these. It was a cool mask. It was a really cool mask.
Like right?
It was like a indigenous person, like a mask on in the middle.
I saw the mask, Blake, and you want to know what my first thought was?
I was like, wow, this is nice.
That's a pretty cool mask. You know what else I thought? He could wear that next year when he's in Seattle.
Whatever. Anyways, and then the big controversy was that of who painted the mask. That it should have been an indigenous person that painted this mask and blah 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 blah.
Do it, Dave Art. He does like all the masks in the NHL.
I know, but like they were just saying, like a First Nations person should have painted the mask. That's what they were saying. Like it's just cancel culture all over the place. Like this guy just signs like a 2-year deal, and the guy doesn't even play the game. The fucking fans are already running him out of town.
Was it the Vancouver fans?
Yeah, Vancouver Twitter went nuts. You didn't see this?
No, Blake. That's why.
Oh my god, it was awful. Like I tweeted out. I said, "Man, some Canucks fans are a joke on here. This is ridiculous.
Why are they? What I don't understand. What do they care?
That's what I was saying. Like I don't care. I thought it was a cool mask.
I don't think he meant anything by it other than the fact that, like, he just thought it was a cool design.
Yeah, I don't know. Like he had the 2 orcas on the side. He had like waves and then the ocean and like I don't know. And then his wife deleted her Twitter over this because the Canucks fans are so bad. I promise you, like it is awful.
So Holtby's like, yeah, good thing I signed for 1 year.
I guess. Jesus, awful.
God. Jesus. Vegas shopping Pacioretty, Fleury, and you throw out the rumor that Marchessault may be on the move.
Yeah, I think. Well, I mean, you look at their cap situation; they're still $4 million over the cap, and Marchessault
gotta go.
Marchessault's 5.5 would seem appealing to a lot of teams that can't afford those big contracts like Pacioretty or Fleury, who have north of $7 million cap hit. So to me, Marchessault is probably the most likely to go. But who knows? That they've been trying to trade Fleury. There was talks that the Hurricanes might be interested in Marc-Andre Fleury. I was reading an article on that on The Athletic. And they got James Reimer and Peter Mrazek still under contract for 1 more year. It'd be interesting.
Let me ask this question. What kind of a return do they get on Pacioretty?
Well, they got absolutely fleeced by Montreal in that trade. Montreal got Nick Suzuki, a 1st-round pick, and Thomas Tatar. So that Suzuki looks like a really good player, potentially 21 years old. But you'll probably get like a 2nd-round pick and a couple prospects. Maybe look. Excuse me. They traded Nate Schmidt to Vancouver, a 3rd-round pick.
It's because every team in the league knows that they've got to move them to be compliant. And second of all, if someone's going to eat that big contract, like I'm not giving up an asset.
Yeah. So
right now, I want to say if a team called them up and said, we'll take his whole salary,
for
like give you a 5th rounder, they would be like, done deal.
Yeah, it's hard to say.
What are you going to get a return now?
Well, I mean, like Pacioretty is still a good player. You know what I mean?
You know what? He's only been a non-30 goal scorer 1 time.
Yeah,
so he's probably going to get a 25 to 30 goal score. But Blake, you want to pay that salary?
No, I don't. Obviously not. Absolutely
so if you're going to like a team like Ottawa, they came to mind.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's got 4 years left, 3 years left on his deal.
Well, what's Ottawa have to give? 5th-round pick and it's done deal. Vegas will be like, we don't have any choice.
Well, Ottawa's got to be Ottawa's got to be careful because eventually you're going to have to pay these kids.
Yeah.
Eventually you're going to have to pay Kachuk. Eventually you're going to have to pay all these other kids. So
next year you have to pay Kachuk, right?
Yes. Yeah, because he came from college. So yeah.
So
And you just paid Shabbat, right? Then you're gonna have to lock up. Stützle in 3 years. Like that money's gonna go quick.
Ask Colorado and Vancouver how quick the cap goes, because it goes quick.
Well, yeah. I mean, Vancouver's was kind of stupid contracts, but yeah, Colorado, they still got to pay McKinnon in 3 years. So it'd be interesting to see. They got Makar next year. They got to pay.
I know.
Rantanen just got paid. Landeskog, is he going to get brought back?
And the cap's not going to go up. So there's going to be some really, really interesting things going on.
Yeah.
Really. One last thing we'll talk about before we roll into 3 questions, but Todd McLennan claims the Kings rebuild is over.
Yeah, I don't know what weed this guy has been smoking, but
the team.
I want some. I want whatever he's smoking, because the Kings are 3 years away from even being a playoff team.
The only thing that I was thinking that he meant maybe is that we've drafted the pieces to end the rebuild.
Okay, but it doesn't matter. The core, dude. They still got Dustin Brown. They still got Jeff Carter on their payroll. Jonathan Quick is getting old. To me, your rebuild really isn't over until you get rid of that dead weight. Because look at Vancouver. I might be biased by bringing this up, but people are like, oh, well, the Canucks were rebuilding in like 2014. No, really, the Vancouver Canucks didn't really start the rebuild till the Sedin twins retired.
Yep.
Because you really can't rebuild when the Sedin twins are on your roster. You just can't do that. So as long as Jeff Carter and Dustin Brown and Kopitar and Doughty and Quick are all on there, you're not really rebuilding, because you're still going to the same core. Yeah, they have one of the best systems in the league, don't get me wrong. But, like, you take 10 of those prospects, a max, maybe 4 are going to work out. Maybe 4.
I know.
You know, like, obviously, Quentin Byfield, I think he's going to be a good player for them. They got Alex Turcotte. You got Cal Peterson in net. You got Cal Clegg on the back end. They got some young pieces coming up. Gabe Vilardi, like you mentioned last week, coming.
They've got some good.
They got some good young players. They got some good young players. They got Turcotte too. He's another center they drafted. They got I forget his name. He scored 50 goals last year in the OHL. They got him in the second round. Arthur Kiliev.
But you're totally right, though. The fact is, I mean, some of those guys aren't going to pan out. They just every prospect doesn't pan out.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's going to be issues there, and I hope he was just talking that we've put the pieces in place to, speed this rebuild up. But holy cow, the fact that he thinks that
it's time to turn the ship was his exact words. And to me, that's just like setting false hope, because did you see what Jim Benning said? That was very bold.
What?
He said that the Canucks were going to win the Stanley Cup.
Oh my God.
He guaranteed that the Canucks will win the Cup. He guaranteed, I'm dead ass. He said that these young core players will be a part of this team when we win the Stanley Cup. That's what he says. I like that. I like it. He's being bold, and he's probably right. They're going to win the Cup in 2022, baby. Let's go.
I've heard enough. Let's get on to 3 questions.
It's one all, one shot, now the future before. Let's go.
It's time for 3 questions.
All right, Flame Sands. All right. Jeez. Time for 3 questions. My favorite part of the show. It's my turn this week to fire 3 questions off at Blake and see what genius answers Blake has for us this week. Question number 1, Blake. Are you ready?
Yeah.
What grows the game of hockey more NHL hockey? EA Sports NHL games like NHL 21, or people playing fantasy hockey pools?
For younger kids, probably the video game. For guys like 18 to your age, probably fantasy hockey. They learn the players, they draft the players, they follow their team, which means they maybe watch if the McDavid's on their team, and maybe they'll watch an Oilers game or. But yeah, like for little kids, I mean, the EA Sports NHL is a good way to grow the game, good way to learn the players, and yeah.
I think it's the impact of EA Sports games on all professional sports has been bigger than they'd ever imagine. I think that's how kids learn the players nowadays.
Well, even like the athletes play like NHL.
Yeah,
like it's crazy.
Yeah. Okay, question number 2. What is the best hockey book that you have read?
Clint Malarchuk.
Yeah.
Very, very good book. It talked about how he almost committed suicide twice. He talked about the cut. Yeah, it was a really deep book. I couldn't put it down. It was really good.
I've read quite a few good hockey books. My favorite by a mile, though, and I guarantee if you go on to Amazon right now and you order this book, you will not put it down and you will laugh your ass off so hard that you will not be able to handle it. You need to go buy, it's called The Best Seat in the House by Jamie McLennan.
Mm-hmm.
Unbelievable book.
You know what's another really good book? The Day I Almost Killed 2 Gretzky's.
Yeah, I have that book. I haven't read it yet.
That's a funny book. The Swift Current Broncos bus crash one.
Yep.
Those 4 people died. That was a really good one. There's a book about
Kelly Rudy's book is great.
Kelly Rudy's book is good. I have that book about that guy that Danny Heatley killed in that car crash.
Yeah.
I got that book. That's a really good book. Super good book.
I never read that one.
I'm just trying to think here.
You know what book I just finished last week? Burke's Law by Brian Burke.
Is it good?
Awesome.
You bought the audio version?
What's that?
You bought the audio version?
I read it. I bought the audio too, and when I travel this week, I have to travel to some work meetings. I'm listening to the audio. I'm not kidding you. If you are a Calgary Flames fan or a Vancouver Canucks fan, more Vancouver than
Calgary. Does he talk about drafting the Twins?
Yes.
And like the backstory. Have you seen the 10-minute video on YouTube about how he made those trades?
This book is the best. It's awesome. It is awesome. I'm gonna have to clip this here where you're slobbering all over the place. Probably a highlight video. Jesus. Oh, you need to read Burke's Law. I highly recommend that book. It's great. Another good book that I've enjoyed. And the reason I brought this up is because now's the time to buy books for hockey fans for gifts. I know this book's been out a few years, but it's still it's a good one. Hockey Confidential by Bob McKenzie. That's a good one too.
That's a good one.
Another really good one. Okay, question number 3. Do you think the World Juniors will be played this year?
Yep. Yeah, I think they'll be played. There'll be 10 teams, 5 each pool. It'll be just like the playoffs.
Is the IIHF that dumb that they've limited it to 25 player rosters?
Yeah, I don't know about like why they did that. Like,
even 3, if they would have went to 28, would help. Like,
yeah,
it's not going to go off without a hitch. This is not going off without a hitch. There's going to be problems.
It'll be interesting.
There's going to be problems. Listener question. I love this listener question. Probably my favorite listener question we've had in the last 20 episodes. And we've had some good ones. This one's from Sid Lapointe in Montreal. With the Wayne Gretzky rookie card selling this past week for $1.29 million, a 1979 O-Pee-Chee card sold at auction, which I have quite a few Gretzky's in the 1980 model, but not the 79 model. But also, to be told, if your mom threw away your Gretzky rookie card, don't worry.
She owes me $1 million.
No, it's not worth $1 million. Because here's the deal. There's been only 2 Nolan Gretzky cards that are 100% mint, and this was one of them. Sold at $1.29 million. That's a preface to this question. The question is, what is your most treasured hockey card?
Ooh. I think I remember having a Jaromir Jagr rookie card. I have a signed Roberto Luongo game worn jersey card. I'm trying to think here. I got a few signed by the Sneed twins.
You want to hear my story on my favorite card?
Nothing crazy.
My favorite card. I collected a lot in 79, 80, 81, 82, 83. I remember getting a Ray Bourque rookie. Thought that was a pretty special card. Then I quit collecting for quite some time. And then in the early 90s, I collected a little bit. And then again in the late 90s, I guess. This was a card I bought in the early 90s, and it was in a score set, which was known as kind of the crappy cards, the cheap crap cards. And I remember going in our mall in my hometown. They used to have a store called the Locker Room, and it was a sports card store. Mm-hmm. And I worked at a sporting goods store in the same mall area, and I walked down there one day on my lunch break, and he had a big bin full of cards that were 25 cents a pack. Just take your pick, pack, 25 cents. So I had picked out a bunch, and one of them that I had picked out was a 1990 score set. I open it up and I pull out a 1 in 200 autographed Bobby Orr card.
A 1 in what?
200 of them out there. I pulled and the only thing, the reason I thought it was cool, it's probably not worth a whole lot, but the reason I thought it was cool is like, I pulled a freaking 1 in 200 card autographed by Bobby Orr out of a discount bin for 25 cents of a pack.
Yeah. Crazy.
What is your favorite collectible to collect in hockey, Blake? Do you have one?
I don't really collect stuff though. Like
I don't, but you know what?
Whenever I go to a game, I usually get a puck.
Yep, me too. I get a game puck. For every game, I get a game puck.
I just went to the Montreal game in Vancouver. And I got a puck from there. Just an official game puck. That's just always been something that I've always done.
That's what I do too.
So that's really the only thing I do. I don't collect hockey cards anymore. I don't collect bobbleheads, nothing like that.
No, me either. You know what? When my kids move out though, and my kids get on their own, you know what I am going to collect? I'm going to start a autograph game worn, or not even autograph.
My dad does that. He just bought
a game worn collection.
He just bought a Brendan Morrow jersey.
Yeah.
It's signed. It's in.
I don't even care if it's autograph. I just want game used stuff. I just think that is just so cool, to have that game used.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that's going to be really cool to have. Well, we survived another show. Next week, Blake and I are going to take the week off for the holiday break. No show next week. We will be back on December 28th. I guess at that point, we damn well better know more details about the upcoming season because camps will be opening just a few days after that. We'll have a great show plan. We'll do, you know what we got to do here before the season gets going is all crazy prediction shows. We do a show every year called 10 Crazy Predictions. And then we also do our prediction shows for each division. And this year's going to be a whole screwy mess with all the realignment and everything. So we got a lot of fun shows coming up here in the near future. We'll be back on the 28th. Enjoy your week off. Check us out on YouTube. Subscribe, watch, go to Manscaped, get your Christmas gifts. You're almost running out of time. Use promo code DEBATE. Save yourself 20% off. They'll ship it to you free. Great deals, great grooming from the Debate Hockey Podcast. Everybody out, have a very safe, enjoyable, fun, happy, whatever you want to call it, Merry Christmas. Blake and I say Merry Christmas. Everybody have fun and enjoy the time. Get connected. The Debate Hockey Podcast can be found on Twitter at Debate Hockey. Also, make sure you check us out on our Facebook page, The Debate Hockey Podcast. Brad Burud can be found on Twitter at Brad Burud, and co-host Blake Friars can also be found on Twitter at Friars_Blake. If you like what you hear, please rate and review us on Apple Podcasts. The Debate Hockey Podcast can be found on all major podcast players, and please consider subscribing to the Inside Edge Hockey News on Patreon.
Thanks so much for listening to this episode of the Debate Hockey Podcast with your host, Brad Burud. For more great content and to stay up to date, visit InsideEdgeHockeyNews.com and on Twitter at InsideEdgeHOCKE and Facebook at Inside Edge Hockey News. We'll catch you next time.
This has been a production of Inside Edge Hockey News Radio, copyrighted and distributed by the Inside Edge Hockey Media Group.